Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam to all the assembled devotees. Hope the screen is visible and I'm audible there.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Krishna. So as usual, let's start our day with prayers to Shri Radha Govinda and our Guru Parampara. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnana-anjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupagada Mahyam Dadadi Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalitam Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karana Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhasya Chakrapa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Guru Maharaj ki Jai Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarini Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Dandavat Pranam. Hope you all had a quick recap on the previous class to begin with. Is already done.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Bol. So what we learned is the karma sannyasa and karma yoga both can lead to liberation, but nishkama karma yoga is much better and easier than karma sannyasa. That is what we understood. And then we understood that we are the spirit soul entrapped in this body, right? We are not enjoying within this body. That realization is very important. So many of us are in such ignorance that we think we are enjoying our life. But the fact is we are entrapped within these 9 gates of body is the fact we need to understand. And as the example what we have given before, we are living in an apartment. We are not the apartment. Similarly, we are the spirit soul living in this body. We are not this body. So this is a beautiful example which comes through. And till the time we are in this body, we continue to suffer. There is a beautiful sloka in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 1, Sloka 10, which says, Prayen alpayusa sabhya kalo asmin yuge jana manda sumanda mateyo manda bhagya hi upadrita. What is the meaning of this? O learned one, in this iron age of Kali, men are almost men has short lives and they are lazy, they are misguided and always quarrelsome and they are disturbed. So how many of you think you are part of this category? Can I see some raised hand, or already everybody are in transcendental, blissful? Any raised hands? So we are all struggling. Realizing that itself is a big knowledge, right? So how do we overcome this suffering is what this chapter concludes. Yeah, so what is important is to realize that we are the spirit soul and all this suffering which is happening is for the body, not for the spirit soul. The spirit soul is detached from all these activities. As long as we have completely attached to this material body, we continue to experience that suffering. The elevated soul who realize that we are not this body, we are the spirit soul, and whatever suffering which is going through, it is temporary. And body is suffering. So you stand outside this body and see the suffering to the body. So that is the visualization we have to rise to. And then we learned the three doers. Correct? So what are the three doers? Who are the three doers?
The super soul, the sanctions,
the super soul, and the material
the
nature.
mind,
Yes.
and
So we will touch on this. And last class, to overcome, to rise in this realization, 3Ds were discussed. Right? What were the 3Ds?
discrimination, determination, and dependency.
Yes. So discrimination of what is right and what is wrong for our progress back. We now know the purpose of our life. We now know the constitutional position. Who is Krishna and what is my constitutional position? What is the purpose of my life? Now knowing this, discriminating what is right and what is wrong, what is good for my progress, what is determined for my progress. This discrimination is very important. And then once you know that this is the right thing, the next is determination. Hold on to it very strongly for this process what is been given by our Guru Acharyas, and complete dependency on the divine power of the Supreme Lord and our Guru Parampara. So with this dependency, we can progress. So these are the key learnings from our previous class. So the three doers, Jiva, desires, and the Supreme Paramatma within, he sanctions, and the material nature will do all the activity based on our attachment to three modes of nature. Either it is Satguna, Rajoguna, or Tamoguna, we will act accordingly. And then now we touched upon, we are not this body, we are spirit soul, and Krishna is the super soul. What is the differentiation? So both are Satchit Ananda, eternally, they are eternal, blissful. Yeah. But what is happening for us is, because of our conditioning to the material nature, we are suffering. And then we are Anu Atma, Krishna, the Supreme Paramatma is Vibhu Atma. And we have, again, last class we ended with our session. Then why do we do some mistakes? Yeah, why do we do some sinful activities? Because of the minute independence we have. Krishna do not interfere in this independence. So when we desire to serve the Lord, he will facilitate. When we want to serve the Maya, Krishna do not interfere. So this is one of the key learning. So today we will further move on with the section 4, Shloka 5.7 to 5.16, liberation by focus on the super soul. So one who is fixed in this knowledge and remains materially equipoised attains liberation in near future. So we will detailedly understand what this statement all about. So somebody can raise the hand. Let us start with Shanti Sudesh Mataji. You want to recite this shloka?
Yes, Prabhu. Reading from the Bhagavad Gita, translation and purport by Swami Prabhupada. Jai Shri Krishna. Shloka 17, chapter 5. Tad buddhayas tad atmanas tanishtas tad parayanaha gacchantya punaravrittim jnana nirduta kalmashaha.
Thank you, Mataji. So Dr. Manushi Mataji, you want to read this for us?
When this knowledge is fused to focus on the super soul, then one can act in a transcendental way. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So when one's intelligence with mind, faith, he has taken refuge of the Supreme Lord, then he acts in a transcendental way. Entire Bhagavad Gita, the Vedas confirms that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna himself says in Bhagavad Gita Shloka 7.7, Matta Parataram Nanyat Kinchit Asti Dhananjaya. He says, O conqueror of wealth, there is no superior truth than me. Everything is resting upon me, like a pearls are strung on a thread. And here we understood once one who is fixed his mind, intelligence and faith on Krishna, undoubtedly all his misgiving is cleansed. So such a person will surrender to Krishna, and Krishna is saying that Sarva Dharmam Parityaja Mamekam Sharanam Raja. So that level of surrender a person gets into. This is a very nice sloka. Who is to take it up? A lot of hands. Chanda Yadav Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
विद्या विनयं सम्पन्ने ब्रह्मणे गविहस्तनि शुनि चैव श्वपाके च पंडिता समदर्शिनः. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Mataji. Praveen MS Prabhu, you want to read the translation?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. The humble sages, by virtue of true knowledge, see with equal vision a learned and gentle Brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog eater. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. So here, a humble sage sees with equal vision the dog as well as Brahmana as a equal. On what basis, on what platform they are equal? Can somebody add? Sorry, who is that? Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, because the super soul is there in both.
Yes. Yes. So super soul is residing, the Paramatma is residing, and for a elevated sage, he doesn't look at this body, he look at the soul within and the super soul within. At that platform, he is equal, he sees equal vision, right? So Krishna do not make any differentiation. And the symptom of sadhu, such sadhu is also described in a beautiful shloka in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, shloka, chapter 25, shloka 21. It says, Titikshava Karunika Shudra Sarvadehinam Ajata Shatravan Santa Sadhavan Sadhu Bhushana. So what it says, the symptom of a sadhu, it explains the symptom of a sadhu, that they are tolerant, merciful, and friends of all the living entities, and he has no enemies, and he is always peaceful. So when you have no enemies, then you will be peaceful. So who is our biggest enemy? Where is the biggest enemy?
Minds,
Prabhu, the mind.
Yes. So
And
in
all the
what
content.
stage mind becomes our enemy?
When it runs away with us and we can't control it.
Yes. So when the mind is not in control, it becomes our biggest enemy. So the controlled mind becomes our best friend. So the sadhu, so one of the key learning takeaway from this shloka is the elevated souls see every living entity with the equal vision. So from this point, one thing which comes out is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's the key learning, the three important things for us to progress spiritually. What are the key important things for us to progress in the spiritual path given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu specifically? Sorry?
Namaruchi,
Hare Nam Kirtan.
Yes,
Hare Krishna
yes, yes.
Prabhuji,
Yes, Mataji. Namera
Namaruchi,
Ruchi.
Jivera Daya, and Vaishnava Seva Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji. So Namera Ruchi, that is our sadhana. Vaishnava Seva is our service, and Jivera Daya. So we need to see every living entity with equal vision and try to give the best to them. What is the best to them? What is the best we can give to anybody?
Hare Krishna Mahamantra.
Yes, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Krishna consciousness, devotee association. So whoever we meet, we see, all our friend, family, circle we have to give this. Yeah. So this is one of the key thing. And then when we talk about this soul,
Prabhuji, and
Hare
it is
Krishna.
Prabhuji Hare Krishna, and also Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is said that being the association like our relatives, and if we are not able to give what we know little bit, like little bit the knowledge, if you are not giving them that, it is becoming something like drawback of for our soul also. If we know about Krishna and Bhagavatam, we should give this knowledge to them so that their soul also be get elevated, and the birth and death, this cycle will they will also become mukta.
Yes.
Sorry,
So,
Prabhuji, I interrupted because nowadays I am reading Bhagavatam, so that
yes,
is curiosity to say. Thank you, Prabhuji.
no problem, Mataji. Thanks for your point. So we discussed about the difference between the soul and the super soul. We understand that we are infinitesimal, whereas the super soul is infinite, unlimited. We are limited. The super soul is unlimited. So regarding this, the Lord living within our body and he is unlimited, Prabhupada gives a beautiful analogy. So what is the analogy? Can somebody share in this context? We live in this body. Super soul lives in every body, right? So in
Like
this, there
Prabhuji,
is a
sun and
beautiful
the
analogy.
sunshine.
No, Mataji.
No.
No. So why I am asking these specific questions is that shows how the participants have come prepared for the class. If you have read these purports, you have all the answers here. Yeah, anybody wish to try?
Prabhuji, is it a Brahmin and a dog eater, like equality?
No, Mataji.
So because okay.
No. So as a soul, I am living in this body. I am the owner of this body. It is compared to a piece of land I am owning, right? Whereas the Lord living in every living entity is like a king of the kingdom. So I may be the owner of this particular land, but the king is the owner of the entire kingdom, including my land, right? So that is how the position of the Supreme Lord. Now you all have discussed this particular point. It is very important. It gives the symptoms of self-realized person, and also I have told to list some of the practical application. This knowledge, how are we going to apply in our life, practical life, right? So let us discuss this for next 5 minutes. Already we have spent a lot of time. I could not join in time. So maybe 1.5 minutes per group. So some of the key points you learned, we can discuss and move further. So group 1 who have been chosen, we can start with group 1.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Neha
So
Mataji.
yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, Mataji.
We discussed the symptoms. The self-realized soul is equally disposed towards everyone because he sees Paramatma in their heart, not their outer covering. And he is not illusioned by false identification because he knows perfectly well that he is a self-realized soul because he is in Sthira Buddhi. And also he is still Buddhi, that is why he is not bewildered. And thus he is always situated in the transcendental plane. And he is having no taste for sense gratification. This point was discussed in purport by giving the example of Sri Yamunacharya ji, and he lost his taste for material sense pleasure because self-realized soul, they have higher taste, that is param drishtavani vartate, because they chant the holy name of the Lord, and they so these were the
So you
points we
keep some
discussed.
points for other groups. Tell me what is the practical application you have discussed in the in your group. How we
Practical
now you know
application.
that this now how are you going to apply, or how you have applied this?
Yes,
And
practical application.
your group can also help you in this.
Yes.
1 or 2 practical
Practical.
applications. Yes, Mataji.
Yes, practical application we discussed that we should try not to judge people very quickly because we should try to see Paramatma in their heart, not their body and not the activities of the body. So we should give them a chance and we should not judge them very quickly. And for ourselves, we can develop such consciousness. It's very difficult, but through constant association of devotees, this can be possible. So these were the 2 points we discussed.
Thank you, Mataji. Let us go to group 2. Who is the representative in group 2?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I am chosen.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu, 1 minute. You can discuss some of the points which Mataji has already covered. You can skip and add your points, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji has covered almost all the points we discussed in session like Steta Padma, Steta Muni, Steta Dirmani.
Yes. So give us some practical applications from your group.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Self-realized person is determined as the crystal clear vision before him. Practical application is if someone there is a chance of teaching. So many people are teaching this Hare Krishna people, but they have the crystal clear vision before him, so they will not yield to any material sense enjoyment, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Hare Krishna. If I miss something,
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I belong to Prabhuji's group. Can I add the points which Mataji? Shall I share 2 points?
Please add, Mataji. I am looking for some of the practical application.
Yes, Prabhuji. We should not waste time. According to the puppets, a self-realized person will not at all waste his time. He is always controls his force of anger, taste, mind, and everything, and he will try to become Goswami, Prabhuji. So we actually missed to discuss application, Prabhuji. But what I feel from my point is, Prabhuji, in daily material life, we are always having all these issues. So by continuous sadhana, we have to try to reach that stage, but we are only a neophyte devotees, but we have to do our sadhana to get into all these stages, final stage of that self-realization, which is really being a neophyte, we have to do our sadhana regularly. That is what my practical.
Yes. Very important point you brought in is do not waste time talking about the dualities in your life. Everybody are suffering. Everybody are battling their own life, right? We spend so much time talking about he has done this to me, he has done that to me, I'm going through this. Yes, it is required. Somewhere we have to release our stress, but don't spend too much time on such things. Rather, realize that you are there in this material body. Till the time you are there, the suffering is going to be there. We discussed last time 3 type of kleshas. Some or the other kleshas will definitely come, right? So there is no end for these kleshas. Rather, take it as mercy of Krishna and look at the higher purpose and continue to be strong in your sadhana and the purpose. You need to have a clear purpose. What is the purpose of this life? And try to overcome those challenges as quickly as possible than dwelling too deep into it and deviate from the path. That is very important lesson for us. The group 3. Who is coming forward from the group 3? Hare Krishna. Who are all part of group 3? No volunteers in group 3.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Okay, so I think one of the points is like Sukham Akshayam Ashnude, that they enjoy unlimited happiness, because
Yes.
he is always concentrating on the Supreme. Then practical application, I would say, like understanding that a self-realized soul has all these qualities. So thereby we don't have to, I mean, we should not treat them as an ordinary person. Just like, I mean, because that's also an offense in third offense of holy name. And yeah, if somebody else can add.
Who are all part of your group, Mataji?
Shanta Mataji, Padmini Mataji, I forgot. I think Manashri.
Mataji. Anybody wish to add any of the other points? Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna. A self-realized person knows the signs of God, and he is already situated in transcendence. So he always focus on his goal.
Yes. Yeah. So we understood the qualities of a self-realized person, but now practically, how are we going to implement this is the key learning we have to take, right? So one of the key symptom, as we discussed, he do not falsely identify with the body and perfectly knows that he is the spirit soul, part and parcel of Krishna. And one more important thing, one of the Mataji quoted about the Yamunacharya. So here, one more important thing is, one of the reason for our continuous suffering is our intense desire for sense enjoyment and material attachments. We are all trying to hold on to it, facing all the abuses, all the politics, everything because of our attachments and sense enjoying propensities. So, and here in Sloka 5.21, it says, sex pleasure is considered as the highest pleasure in the material world, and it is the last weapon of Maya to shackle us within this material world. It is known as Maitunya Agara. So it has been shackled. We have put behind this bar of sex pleasure. So one has to regulate and rise above these demands, these bodily demands. And how one can regulate and rise? By getting the higher pleasure. As Mataji said, param drishtva nivartate, right? So getting that higher taste is very important, and that taste will come by continuous sadhana in association of devotees and gaining this intelligence, knowledge by listening and reading the scriptures. Yeah. So now let us move further. Next sloka, who is to Shanti Shudesh Mataji, you can take up.
Yes. ये हि संस्पर्शसाच्चा भोगा दुःखयोनय एव ते आद्यन्तवन्त कौन्तेय न तेषु रमते बुधाः.
Thank you, Mataji. Keshav Prabhu, want to read the translation, please?
Hare Krishna. An intelligent person does not take part in the sources of misery, which are due to contact with the material senses. O son of Kunti, such pleasures have a beginning and an end, and so the wise man does not delight in them. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. So these are all very, very important slokas. Please make notes and try to apply in your life. Yeah. The material sense enjoyment, again, it has been told as temporary. We are all struggling so hard for our material sense enjoyment, material attachment, material opulences. But what we need to understand is it is all temporary, and at a given point when there is a calling, we have to leave everything. We can't even carry a grain of mustard in our hand. We have to leave everything here and go back, right? And one more important learning is, one who gets that higher taste, endeavor for the higher taste and gets for higher taste, he do not hanker, or he do not repent for leaving out the lower taste. Most, at least for me, I was a big time meat eater. Today I have absolutely no repent of leaving that. So why this happens? Any thoughts?
Prabhuji, realization, you understood the real fact that what is to be eaten and what is not to be eaten and what is good for your for the soul.
Yeah, true, Mataji. So now somebody who have moved into 3 BHK apartment, will he repent leaving 1 BHK? No, right? Similarly, one who have got $10 billion in his hand, does he repent for losing 100 rupees? No, right? So we need to realize what is that higher taste and put everything to achieve that higher taste. That is the purpose of our life. And even in Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a beautiful sloka 5.5.1, the Canto 5, chapter 5, sloka 1. This also gives as a clear understanding that one should not labor hard, very hard for sense enjoyment or material opulences. But the immediate thing what we will take away from this is, let us not labor hard about regarding our responsibilities. What Krishna is telling is, don't labor hard for your sense enjoyment, but you work hard and give the results to me, is what Krishna is telling. So no running away from responsibilities. This is one of the key learnings. And why Krishna is telling this? What are we working hard for our sense enjoyment? What is that? Even Prabhupada says, even the hog on the street gets what we are struggling very hard for. What is the dog or a hog doing on the road? It is struggling to eating, mating, sleeping, and defending. Without any of these efforts, the animal is already getting all these things. Then why are we struggling 12 hours, 14 hours in offices or doing whatever we are doing? Right? So what is that real labor we need to put is to rising in our realization that we are not this body, we are the spirit soul, we are Atato Brahma Jignasa. So this is the efforts what we need to put towards. And when this realization comes through our austerities and penances. When we take some austerities, when we regulate our sense enjoying propensities, we will rise above in this realization. That is exactly what we get by waking up early in Brahma Muhurta. Even I had the choice of sleeping 8 hours today, being Sunday, but we wake up in Brahma Muhurta, complete our sadhana, prepare for the class, give the class, attend the class. So what are we trying to do? These are all our austerities for our senses. So this way we will rise in our realization that when we doing all these things, we are going away from the bodily demands and nourishing our soul. So this is sadhana. Through this sadhana, we rise in our realization. Let us move to the next sloka. Saheli Bose Mataji, you wish to take up?
Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, before that, the previous slide, that one picture is given in which the elephant is in the pit, the big pit.
Yeah.
So, can you put some light on that?
This particular thing I have myself forgotten. See, basically, some of the thing what it is said is like, for example, the moths flying into the fire. One of the thing which I remember, the deer running towards the wild animal. At the end of the day, because of our sense enjoyment, we are running towards danger. So anybody remember about this elephant falling into the pit?
Prabhuji,
Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
For female elephant, Prabhuji.
Anybody remember from our previous classes?
Yes, Prabhu. I think each one was for one different sense, Prabhu. The eyes, The moth is attracted by the light because of the eyes, and the elephant because of the urge for thing. They lure him into this trap by female elephant, and the bee by the smell, and it is trapped inside the lotus. The other two I don't remember.
Okay, I will come back to you. I will try to understand. I'll come back, but thank you for bringing up this. Okay, let us now move further. Yeah, regarding tolerance, who was going? Saheli Mataji, can you please take up this sloka?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, shall I read?
Yes, Mataji, go ahead. Who is going for it? Shravani Mataji, you wanted to, or?
I will read Sai Prabhuji.
Yeah, please take it up.
शक्नोति हैव यः सोढुं प्राक्शरीरविमोक्षणात् कामक्रोधोद्भवं वेगं स युक्तः स सुखी नरः. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Santoshi Bhupana Mataji, can you please read this for us, translation? Padmini Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji, please, can you please try read the translation for us?
Tolerate agitations till the end of life. Oh, that is Shloka. Before giving up this body, if one is able to tolerate the urges of the material senses and check the force of desire and anger, he is well situated and is happy in this world. Hare Krishna.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. So, tolerating the urges of our material sense enjoying propensity is what we need to understand, right? We have still not reached to a stage where we have already got the higher taste and these things do not disturb us. It continues to disturb us. So what we can do is regulate and tolerate. And there is a beautiful shloka from Nectar of Instruction, shloka 1, which says, Vacho vega manasa krodha vega jivva veda udaro pasta vega etan vega yo visheta diraha sarvam apimam prithvim sa shishyat. So this gives the qualification of one, a spiritual master who can make desires. For that, what kind of tolerant he need to be? It says a tolerant person a sober person who can tolerate the urges to speak, the mind's demand, the actions of anger, and urges of tongue, belly, and genitals. So there are the three things which will always disturb us, and because of these three things, to satisfy these three things, we end up falling down, serving Maya and our senses. And talking about tolerate, there is one more beautiful sloka which generally I have told multiple times. Anybody remember from our scriptures? What is the sloka? Who is that? Aruna Mataji? What is that sloka?
Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Sahishnuna. So we have to be like the grass and the tree, wherein the tree tolerates so many kinds of bad weathers. So that is how we should try to tolerate.
Correct. So Sikshastakam, verse 3, Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Sahishnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari. It is very easy to say that one has to think himself lower than the grass and more tolerant than a tree. Why tree? Tree continues to give shade, shelter, fruits, flower, even though people cut, people scribe, do so many things to disturb the tree, but tree continue to give all these things, right? Amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari. We have to continue to respect others and do not expect any respect in return. Such a person can constantly chant the holy name. It is very easy, but absolutely difficult. Somehow, I realize by the mercy of Guru Gauranga and the devotees, by the efforts of devotees, we have come into this Krishna consciousness movement. If at all we have to stay in this Krishna consciousness movement till the last breath, Prabhupada says, don't be surprised by how many come into Krishna consciousness. Be surprised how many stays in Krishna consciousness till the end. So if you have to stay till end of your breath in Krishna consciousness and remember Krishna and go back to Krishna, this is one sloka you need to read, understand, and practice every day. Yeah, and it says, how long do I need to tolerate this pushing sense of urges? It says, till we leave this body, until the death of this body, we have to continue to tolerate. Somebody who says that he has won over all these things is just bluffing. The one who has really attained that will never claim that he has attained such a success. Let us move to the next two slokas. So,
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Sorry, Prabhuji. I will read these slokas.
who is that,
Very
Mataji?
sorry, Prabhuji.
Who is that? Please name.
Shravani.
Shravani Mataji. Okay, go ahead, Mataji.
5.24, right, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji.
योऽन्तस्तु कोऽन्तराराम तथान्तज्योतिरेव यः स योगी ब्रह्मनिर्वाणं ब्रह्मभूतोऽधिगच्छति. Shall I read 25 also, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji, please.
लभन्ते ब्रह्मनिर्वाणं ऋषयः क्षीणकल्मषा छिन्नद्वैधायतात्मानः सर्वभूता हि ते रताः. Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much, Mataji. So here, the liberated person experience the blissfulness at any given place. Not necessary he need to be in Vrindavan or Mayapur, wherever he is remembering Krishna and serving the Lord. Prabhupada says that place itself he can convert into Vrindavana or Vaikuntha. And the second sloka here, the only person who is fully in Krishna consciousness can be said as he is engaged in welfare of the society. Why? There are many welfare activities in the society. Why giving Krishna conscious is the best? Can somebody throw some light on this? You can
One
contribute.
can show the path of liberation to the other.
Yes.
Because awakening one's God's consciousness is highest social welfare activity, Prabhuji.
Yes. Why? Because whatever material things we do to support anybody, that is temporary, right? Whereas you give Krishna consciousness, it is for his eternity. That is the very reason Srila Prabhupada, at the age of 69, he had no reasons to leave. He has done everything to go back to Krishna. He could have continued his sadhana in Vrindavana and gone back to Krishna. At the age of 69, by the orders of his spiritual master, he went to US with just 40 rupees in hand without knowing anybody in the foreign country. He went there and transformed millions. And because of that, we are also trying to follow this path, follow the footstep of our Acharya, and that has transformed our life, right? And we are trying to give this to as many conditioned souls as possible. And that is the instruction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela, Sloka 9.41, it says, Bharata Bhumite Haila Manushya Janma Yara Janma Sartakari Karo Paropakara. Taking birth in this Bharata Varsha itself is the biggest blessings we have received. Having got this, how many are practicing Krishna consciousness? Very negligible, right? And we are among that. We are among that. And what is the purpose? What is the duty of us? Is to Janma Sarthakari. First, your sadhana is important, and then help spread this message to as many conditioned souls as possible. So when we say help spread this message, it is not only giving class in front of the camera, but all those devotees who are helping behind the scene are also doing equally good service, which will be to the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. Right from level 2, there are many students who have progressed from level 2 from where I used to take previous classes. I see so many dedicated devotees are doing such a beautiful services. And one of the reason, when I look back after completing my level 1, immediately next batch I took up admin service. It was batch 7, we are in 48, and I'm continuing that admin service. That is one simple service which has helped me to hold on to this Krishna consciousness till this far. So if you want to continue, it is important to take up service. At least, in fact, I say all the students of Bhakti Shastri should be taking up some or the other services. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I have just started.
Good,
I
Mataji.
started taking up Bengali level 1 classes.
Yes, Mataji. So
I'm
taking
just
classes,
trying. I'm not eligible, but I'm trying.
we are all, none of us are eligible, Mataji. Yeah, in fact, I'm just following the instructions of Namanista Prabhu to take this class. I know I'm not qualified, I'm not eligible, and I am learning every single passing classes. I am learning a lot from these instructions. So that is what the mood is. And the point, what I'm trying to say is better late than never. If at all any of these devotees in this class still not taken up any class, a very strong statement, and I've told you better late than never, very strong statement is, you are attending this class religiously. It is like trying to learn swimming watching the YouTube. You can spend all your life trying to learn swimming watching YouTube, but when you are in water, that is your real test. For you to get into the water is taking up some or the other services. That is practical experience of devotional service, and the blissfulness what you get by selflessly doing some service without any expectation, just to for the pleasure of our Guru and Gauranga, gives us an immense pleasure. And more importantly, that will help us to stay grounded. That will help us to overcome all our false pride. When we reach out for some service, when we are doing some service, so much of our false pride is purified, and that will immensely help us. Right? So request is better late than never. Reach out to Kalpana Mataji or Kirti Mataji, or you can reach out to me. There are so many services you can engage. Simplest of simplest service, or spending 5 minutes a day will also help you. Let us now move to the next sloka. Who is to take up this sloka? Some new hands.
Which shall I read? Taruni.
Yes, Mataji, please take up.
कामक्रोधविमुक्तानां यतीनां यतचेतसाम् अभितो ब्रह्मनिर्वाणं वर्तते विदितात्मनम्.
Who is to take up the translation, who has not participated yet?
Those who are free from anger and all material desires, who are self-realized, self-disciplined, and constantly endeavoring for perfection, are assured of liberation in the Supreme in the very near future.
Yes. Thank you, Mataji. In fact, unmuting and reading this translation is also a service. Okay, even that also the simplest service you can take. Just a minute, I'm running out of my battery. Let me connect my charger. Allow me a minute. Yeah, Hare Krishna. Yeah, so the point we were trying to speak about is the importance of the service, and among the saintly person who is engaged towards this devotional service is best positioned in progressing in Krishna consciousness. And how this service should be. Nasta prayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya. Nityam ahituki apratiyata. That is what we learned in the sloka. Savai pumsa parodharmo. The highest religious principle, the dharma for us is to engage in devotional service, and that should be unconditional and uninterrupted. And in the process, the Srimad Bhagavatam confirms, just by engaging in devotional service of Vasudeva, all our sense enjoying propensities and material attachments are uprooted. And one of the beautiful sloka which I regularly pray out is Sarvopadi vinirmuktam tat paratvena nirmalam rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhakti ruchyate. So the Rishikesha is the master of senses and controller of mind, and we are struggling with our sense enjoying propensity, uncontrolled mind and material attachments. So by praying out to Rishikesha, please engage my senses in your service and purify my service. By doing service, two things is happening: purification of senses, and we are getting freed from all our material designations. So that way we rise in our bhakti. So this sloka 5.26, this talks about the secret of attaining the supreme quickly, Brahma Nirvana stage. What is Brahma Nirvana stage? Is being constantly immersed in Supreme Lord. How it can happen, right? That is the secret of engaging in service. All the services what you are doing, you're always remembering Krishna. You're always doing this for the pleasure of Guru and Gauranga, right? So your consciousness is always on Krishna through your service. And in this regard, fixing up our mind on the lotus feet of the Lord, and there are few analogies mentioned, analogies of tortoise, fish, and bird. Somebody can add, what have you learned from these purports? Have you heard about these purports, analogies before? What is that? How do these tortoise, fish, and bird raise their young ones? Is the analogy Prabhupada gives.
Prabhuji, the tortoise draws its shell all over it and hides inside till the storm passes.
Yeah,
And therefore,
that is
it
for
protects.
controlling the senses. That
Yes,
is a
Prabhu.
different analogy. Here, how does these tortoise, fish, or bird raise their young one? And how we can connect that in our meditation of the lotus feet of the Lord is what I am trying to draw this.
Tortoise being in the sea can take care of its leg, its eggs laid on the ground just by meditating on
Yes.
their
Yes.
eggs.
Yes, Prabhu. Good answer. So the tortoise keeps the egg on the shore, go back to ocean. Just by meditating on those eggs, it will raise their young ones. And how does fish raise their young one? Just by looking at these young ones. And the birds raise their young ones by touching. Similarly, a devotee, even though he is away from the abode of the Supreme Lord, always by constantly meditating on the lotus feet of the Lord, he can rise to that platform, is what we understand. And regarding this, there is a beautiful sloka which I have brought for you from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 22, Sloka 39, which says, Yat pada pankaja palasa vilasa bhaktya karma sayam gratitam udgrantyanti santa tadvanna rikta matayo yato piruddha shrota ganastam aranam bhajam vasudevam. So what is the meaning of this? Yatapada pankaja palasa vilasa bhaktya. One who has offered unalloyed devotional service at the lotus feet of the Lord, the Supreme Lord Govinda, karma sayam gratitam udgrantyati santa. It says, such devotee can completely uproot his deep desire for sense enjoyment and material attachments. Yeah, the first two lines is one who has engaged in devotional service can uproot his material attachment and sense enjoying propensities. Tadvanna rikta matayo yatopi ruddha. It says, those who are devoid of devotional service, who does not come forward to take up devotional service, yatopi ruddha, even after putting so much of endeavors, forget about uprooting the material desires, he can't even control his sense enjoying propensities. So that is what it says, Shroto Ganastam Aranam. That is, he can't even control his sense enjoying propensity until and unless he regulate, he follow the austerities and he engage in devotional service. And what is the only way out is bhakti. It says, Bhajam Vasudeva. Only by bhakti one get his spiritual identity and one rise to a platform of spiritual world and continuously engage in devotional service, free from all this material entanglement. So the chanting of holy name is the only way out. So you all can join me saying Harer Nama Harer Nama Harer Nameva Kevalam Kalau Nasteva 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 Gatiranyata. Yeah. So chanting of holy name is important. Chanting offenselessly, chanting attentively is even more important so that we can continue to rise further. Now we are getting into the next section, next two sloka, liberation through Ashtanga Yoga. Practicing of Ashtanga Yoga also gives the liberation. We will see what kind of liberation and how easy, how difficult. So through these next two sloka. So who wishes to take up this sloka? Let me see some new hands. Anybody? Apart from these three hands, I see any new hands who knows to recite sloka? Yeah, Neha Jindal Mataji, you are not recited sloka today. You can try.
Sparshman Kritva Bahir Bhayamas Chakshachaivantaruduvahu Jnanapanam Samhritva Nasabhayam Pracharino Yatendriyamanobhati Manirmoksha Parayanaha Vigetacha Bhaya Krodo Vyasada Muktayedasahai.
Thank you, Mataji. Praveen K. Prabhu, can you please read the translation for us?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Cutting out all external sensual objects, keeping the eyes and vision concentrated between the two items. Suspending in the inward-outward breaths within the nostrils, and thus controlling the mind, sense and intelligence. The transcendentalist aiming at liberation becomes free from desire, fear and anger. One who is always in the state of certainly liberation.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. So here, Krishna is also giving this instruction to Arjuna how through Ashtanga Yoga one can fix up his mind and liberate from this material world. And there are 8 folds procedure, which is Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana and Samadhi. 8-fold procedure, which we will discuss in detail in the next chapter, chapter 6. So what we need to understand here is the Ashtanga Yoga will help one become free from fear, desires of sense enjoyment, anger, and helps one control the senses, fix up the mind and sees the Paramatma within. So Ashtanga Yoga is helping one. But what is the lesson we need to understand from this is Krishna consciousness engaging in devotional service by default will does all these things. And in Shloka, after explaining in detail about Ashtanga Yoga in chapter 6, Krishna finally he says, Yoginam api sarvesham mat gatenantaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yomam same yukta tamo mataha. So among all the yogas, Bhakti Yoga is the best. Is that conclusion? We get it in chapter 6. So Krishna consciousness automatically gives. So how many of us here want to be free from your fears, your anxieties, desire, the sense enjoyment, desires, anger, want to control your mind? How many of you want to do? There is a beautiful shloka coming up. I only see only 5 participants want to be free from all these things. What about others?
Yeah, I also.
I am not seeing digital hands raised. Are they with me? Karuna Mataji, are you with us?
Yes, Prabhuji.
I don't see your digital hands raised.
प्रभुजी मुझे नहीं आता वो कहना.
Acha, okay. I thought you're already risen above all the anxieties, fear. Okay, so this is a beautiful shloka which Prabhupada says as a peace formula. Yeah, the person in full Krishna consciousness attains liberation from all the pangs of material miseries. Who wishes to recite this beautiful shloka?
May I, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji, go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Bhoktaram yajnatapsam sarvalokamaheshwaram suhridam sarvabhutanam gyatva mam shantim mrikshati. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. So, somebody who has not participated is to try. Manashi Ganga Mataji, you want to try?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu.
Yes, go ahead, Mataji, please read.
A person in full consciousness of me, knowingly to be the ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices and austerities, the Supreme Lord of all planets and demigods, and the benefactor and well-wisher of all living entities, attains peace from the pangs of material misery.
Thank you, Mataji. So first of all, we need to understand what is the root cause of the suffering. Is our sense enjoying propensity and material attachments. Only under the influence of Maya, we are always anxious of our present as well as our future. And mind always brings us the memories of all our past distresses, and we continue to suffer. So this is what is happening. So we need to rise above this and understand that Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the master, supreme enjoyer, supreme proprietor of all the living entities, including the demigods. And what gives us more confidence is Suhurdam Sarva Bhutanam. Krishna is the dear friend of all of us. As said, we are so much caring about our children, right? We are always anxious about the future of our children. We are working so hard to secure their future. Being a material father of our children for this one lifetime, I am so anxious for his well-being. The Supreme Lord has been continuously passing through us, birth after birth as a super soul within us, and continuously guiding us to reach this stage. He is our well-wisher, and we need to see everything which is happening in our life is the bigger hands of the Lord. At times it is not to our favor, right? But still, when we look at this as a bigger plans of Krishna for us to progress, and if we are continuously fixing up in this sadhana bhakti, irrespective of whatever is happening in our material life, if you are fixed up in sadhana bhakti, it is said that it becomes our rightful claim to go back to Krishna. Yeah. So the chapter 5 is the practical explanation of what Krishna consciousness is, how we have to, what should be our mood. And direct Krishna consciousness is the Bhakti Yoga, and the Jnana Yoga, what we have learned, is the path leading to Bhakti Yoga. And in summary, what we need to understand is that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead Master, and we are his eternal servant, and our purpose is to engage in devotional service. Only such a person can attain peace in this material world, being in this material body, is the summary of this chapter. So I wish to end this class with a beautiful shloka from Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 19.149, which says, Krishna Bhakta Nishkama Ateva Shanta Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakali Ashanta. Only because the Krishna consciousness, the person who is practicing Krishna consciousness, is desireless of all his material opulences, and he only wants devotional service of the Lord, is always peaceful. All other who want to build their material opulences for their sense enjoying propensities, they can never be peaceful. So with this, we will end our session. Thank you for your patient listening. This chapter is very, very practical for all our day-to-day life. Mataji, attendance link is not shared yet. So please share attendance link if it is not shared yet.
Sorry, Prabhuji, I'll share now.
Yeah, kindly please share it. Attendance is very important in Bhakti Shastri. And please have a track of that. Continue to attend. In case somebody is missing, make it a point. We can't say 100% attendance is guaranteed, because the forces of Maya is so strong. We tend to miss. Definitely, if our determination is not too strong, we tend to miss. I see many students who have 100% attendance in this class. Many may miss for various reasons, but one thing what you can do is, within next 24 hours, you have to listen to the recording. So that way you are intact. If you miss that 24-hour gap, many of them will not even listen to those important lessons what we are learning through this scriptures from Srila Prabhupada's book. Yeah, so with this, let us end our session. If there is any quick question, we will take the question, and then some of the key realization, key takeaways from this chapter you can share, and then we can end this session. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, the form is not opening.
Okay. Kalpana Mataji, please take a screenshot of all the attendees so we can see if we can add up. We can mark
Yes,
it.
Prabhuji, I'll activate in a second.
Yeah, can you? If you can activate, you can activate. So some of the key learnings from the class, which is a takeaway for me also. I always look forward for the realization from the class.
Prabhuji, one realization can be that in our life, we can face all kinds of situations, as you said, ups and downs. And in small instances, somebody might behave annoyingly, somebody might do something you don't want that should happen, but you don't react in anger. You, if that needs correction, if it's serious enough, then you correct it, but correct it properly, nicely, pleasantly. But don't react immediately in anger, like in an egotistical manner. Like the person I am, I react like that. But it's very important to try to control that tendency towards anger and reach out to the person in a, like, because the super soul, the Lord is present there too. So by reacting angrily, actually we are offending the Lord. So therefore we cannot do that. That fear and that control, self-control is very, very important for us. That's what I learned, Prabhuji.
Correct, Mataji. Not react, respond to the situation.
Yes, Prabhuji, absolutely.
Somebody putting mud on our face, that is his karma. Okay. Immediately, if we put mud on his face, it is our karma.
Our karma. I agree, sir. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Any other things?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, my takeaway is a tolerance like a tree. So come what may the situations, tolerate, and observe like a tree, and then slowly situation will improve. For that situations to improve, hold on to Krishna consciousness. Sadhana becomes very important, and engage in the devotional services.
Yes, Prabhuji. Sadhana gives us a lot of strength to deal through that situation. Sadhana gives us intelligence to deal through that situation. That is the importance of sadhana.
Prabhuji, for me, Niskama Karma, I will try to do Niskama Karma because day to day we all are, we perform certain work, we are having some expectations. So I'll hold I will try to hold myself that not expecting the fruit of my action.
Yes, Mataji. So in any given situation, we are all working very hard in our profession, in our personal life. Many times we suffer because of our expectations. It could be positive, negative. Expectation really hurts us. So we need to do it as a service to the Lord. Success, failure, you leave it to Krishna. This is the key learning from our chapter. Yeah, I'm hoping all have already submitted your OBAs. Team is evaluating. So hopefully by next week, you'll all get your results. And most importantly, in a month's time, your first module exam is going to